So present value of expanding is 27052. Let's change that to. But more importantly, NPV of my project, given that I had a good first year sales, plus I decided to expand by another 20%. If someone told me all of this ahead of time, I would have said, I'm going to make 117 out of this, 117.73. But I also have $20 million cost to it. So these are the NPVs of the project, conditional on me knowing the state of the world. So when I'm making the decision, I'm going to calculate expected NPV adjusted for options. So with 0.16 probability, I get a bad state, negative 2.71. With 0.68 probability, I get the good state, 5.02. And with 0.16 probability, I get 97.73. It's 18.61. My unconditional one, so being blind about what's going to happen, or being blind about what's going to happen, and you have no options. That's 5 point something, right? So that's unconditional NPV. This is option adjusted NPV. So that increase of $13 million is the value of the option. That's the beautiful part of it. You know, if the base case scenario was a little bit weaker, let's say we started with 80 instead of 90, uh, the base NPV was going to be negative. We already looked at that, right? But based on that alone, we would have rejected the project. But now we see that option to expand actually has value. So option adjusted NPV is actually positive. So just because the project has negative NPV without thinking about the options does not necessarily mean you should reject that project. There are more managerial options, even though we're not going to do any calculations about them. I'm going to talk about one more. There's option to wait or timing option. Let's say you're thinking about buying a shale oil field up in North Dakota or in the frozen tundra of Canada. Not that North Dakota is not frozen tundra. If you know anything about shale oil or fracking fields, they are a lot more costly to extract. For example, it costs Saudi Arabia $8 a barrel to extract their oil for two reasons. One, they're much bigger deposits, and two, they have been already developed, and it's not that difficult to extract it. So even if oil prices are $20 a barrel, Saudi Arabia can live with that. I mean, they spend so much money to keep their population happy. Maybe they're going to have to cut down on that. Uh, but other than that, they'll be fine. But if you're a guy with a shale oil field in North Dakota, depending upon where it is and your technology, it may cost anywhere from $40 to $60 a barrel to extract it oil. Right now, oil prices are about, or this is, I think, West Texas Intermediate. Let me. This is 63.55, but that's West Texas Intermediate. Shale oil tend to be a lot more bitter. For example, the Saudi oil is considered sweet because it has high content that you could extract. So probably shale oil is somewhere around 55 or so. I don't know exactly what it is, but let's assume it's 55. And somebody came to you and said, uh, the expected value of the oil into the future is $63, $55 a barrel. Here I have a field with 1 billion barrels of proven reserves. How much you would pay me for this field? Your first reaction could be zero because it's going to cost me $60 to extract a barrel, but I can only get 55 right now. And you would be extremely wrong. Why? Just because the oil is in there, you don't have to take it out today. There's a distribution to that $60 oil price or $55 oil price. At some point, it's going to be high. You know, back in 2003, when U.S. invaded Iraq, oil prices went up to as high as 150, and that's before we adjust for inflation. Then you're going to go ahead and extract that and make money. Whenever it goes below your extraction cost, you're not going to do anything. Since you're not absorbing the losses, when and if they could happen, it's going to take you longer to get it. And actual optimal timing is a very advanced topic, so we're not going to do it here. That shale oil field actually has value, assuming that you'll be able to fund the damn thing while you're not extracting. That's a separate issue. So option to wait has value like that. There's one more option, option timing option. This is for natural resource projects. And option to wait. Sometimes you have a project, but there is a lot of uncertainty about the environment. Let's say I'm NVIDIA, I'm thinking about my next generation of chips, but I have no idea the tariffs from imports from Taiwan is going to be next year. Maybe, tomorrow Trump is going to get up and decide that he likes the red China and he's going to tell him, go ahead, that's yours anyway. China claims the island of Formosa, which is the country of Taiwan, as a rebel state. Or, you know, uh, you can maybe have flexibility. You can shift it to India, but you don't know what the tariffs are going to be in India either. There is that uncertainty. But if I wait a year, here's what's going to happen politically in the United States. What's going to happen in a year from today? You'll be 2 months from the midterm elections, right? So by then, if this tariff business is bad for the economy, there's going to be so many Republican congressmen from competitive districts that will pressure him to get rid of that uncertainty or reduce them, whatever. So if I wait for that, I can make a decision then. So a project may be negative NPV based on the parameters now, but if I thought that those tariffs could go down when the uncertainty is resolved, then I'm going to wait. That's why uncertainty in general results in overall business investment to go down or even housing investments to go down. Because I want to know where the interest rates are before I actually buy something, right? In a year, that uncertainty is going to be resolved. So option to wait has value as well. So something may have negative NPV right now, but just because it is negative now, it doesn't mean it's not going to be positive next year. All right. Let's stop here on Thursday. We're going to expand a little bit more of this, even though we're not going to do too much technical stuff. We're going to talk about Monte Carlo simulation with wide ranges of outcomes and stuff, and how that affects decision making in different stages. I'll see you guys Thursday.